And joining us today to talk about the governor's decision is Aaron Overturf, environmental attorney with Western Resource Advocates. I should say that Stan Dempsey of the Colorado Mining Association was also supposed to be here today. Aaron, glad you're here to talk about this initiative.
Thank you.
You were there with the governor as he made this announcement, so clearly you're in favor of it. What's great about what he's proposing for our state?
Well, I think what's great about it is that we're maintaining our leadership. You know, Colorado has long been a leader in clean energy and addressing pollution, specifically from the power sector, but overall, I mean, we know that clean air, clean water, our natural landscapes are really inherent in our identity as Coloradans, and I think we're really just reestablishing ourselves as leaders when it comes to protecting our natural environment.
Were you surprised how many other states have come forward and saying we're just going to take this on ourselves, forget what the federal government says?
You know, not really, because in a lot of these energy policy decisions, and climate change is sort of all tied together with energy policy, a lot of those decisions all along have been made at the state level. So it's not surprising that I think at the state level, governors and legislators, they see the impacts that these pollutants have on our quality of life. And I think they recognize that they have a duty to the people that they're representing to make sure that we're protecting our clean air and clean water.
And you talked about lawmakers. I think a lot of our Colorado legislature members were not happy that the governor went forward with this without consulting or at least bringing everyone in the fold.
Well, and I think it is an executive action, and we can certainly talk about the legalities of executive actions and what that means. But what's interesting to me is that we've seen this issue get incredibly politicized over the last 10 to 15 years. But when you look at what actual people think, what down on the ground Coloradans think, the polling shows that a majority of people in every state in the country agree that we need to maintain the Paris Climate Accord goals. A majority of people in Colorado support reducing greenhouse gas emissions. They support clean renewable energy, wind and solar. They see the economic opportunity that's presented by the clean energy transition. And I think if you went out and took a poll of average Coloradans, they would definitely be in favor of taking reasonable action to protect our environment.
Although I think that there are some folks, particularly in the rural areas, who see this as a loss of jobs.
Well, I wouldn't say that that's necessarily true. I mean, today we have 62,000 clean energy jobs here in Colorado. 16,000 of those are specifically in renewable energy. So, yeah, we're seeing an economic transition that accompanies this change in the way that our energy is produced and the sources of that energy. But to assume that that means it's going to be a net negative, I don't think that's true. There are far more people that work in the renewable energy industry today in Colorado than work in sort of more traditional forms of coal mining.
So when you talk about renewable energy, give us a visual, give us an explanation. What kind of jobs are we talking about? What kind of change will we see as we walk around Denver, as we walk around La Junta, you know, wherever we are in Colorado?
Well, I think it really depends on where you are in the state. You know, Colorado is incredibly blessed that we have phenomenal resources for any variety of sources of energy. So we've got coal, we've got natural gas, we've got a phenomenal wind resource on the Eastern Plains. We've got one of the best solar resources in the country, specifically when you talk about the San Luis Valley. So I think what this looks like and where these new opportunities are going to be found really depends on where the resource is. But the other thing to remember is that I think often this is framed as we can either act to protect our environment and incur some sort of costs or some sort of negative outcomes, or we can do nothing and everything will be fine. That's simply not the choice that we have in front of us. We can either choose to act, to update our economy, to protect our environment, to protect our climate, or we can choose to not do anything, and there are significant costs in terms of both jobs and overall economic costs that come from failing to act on the crisis that is climate change.
Let's talk about some of the goals. We have about 2 minutes left. So explain what the governor's plan is and how we will see this implemented over the years.
Right. So when you look at the overall reduction in greenhouse gas, that specific goal that's outlined in the executive order, that's really on track with the science-based goals that were established in the Paris Agreement. So what the Paris Agreement is based on is really identifying what sorts of levels of reductions in greenhouse gas emissions do we need to attain in order to limit warming to 1.5 or 2 degrees Celsius. And that's where we see the really frightening impacts of climate change start to kick in. So the majority, the vast majority, a unanimous group of climate scientists have come together and said that these are the types of reductions that we need to make as a global community in order to avoid the worst impacts of climate change. And this will mean simply that Colorado is going to be doing its part.
You also talked about the economy-wide goals of this plan. What will we see within that?
So those are the goals. There's a goal to reduce greenhouse gas emissions within Colorado by 26%. And then there are specific goals when they look at the power sector. So there's a goal to reduce carbon dioxide emissions from electricity production by 25%. So we'll probably see some actions that are being taken among electric utilities to try to reduce their carbon emissions. A lot of that is already happening because, again, the economics are already there. If we were having this conversation maybe 10 years ago, it would still be true that renewable energy was more expensive and it was a trade-off.
So why set these goals then if our companies are already doing this?
Well, not all of our companies are making a lot of progress in reducing our greenhouse gas emissions, but we're not on track to meet those science-based standards to recognize that we're going to be limiting warming to 1.5 degrees or 2 degrees Celsius. So this is really about setting aspirational goals for all of Colorado, not just the power sector. And I think having that North Star, that thing to point to and say, this is our goal, this is where we're all trying to get as a state, how is whatever action we're thinking about right now, how does it get us to that goal? I think that's really valuable.
Well, interesting, and thank you for shedding some light on what these what's in store for Colorado as we push forward.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Stay with us, we'll be right back.